Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Melchizedek Chronicles. I am your host, Kenny Williamson. Thanks for tuning back in. It's been a little while. I'm trying to keep caught up on doing these podcasts, but I do have a full-time job, and it has, sometimes when it's really hot outside, it picks up. So it's been a heat wave down here. So, we've been in the 90s every single day and feels like 100 type deal with very high humidity. So, it's hard to get anything done outside. It's hard to work. So I feel for people that have to work outside in this weather because lots of my jobs are outside in this weather. So it's a killer. It really is. But at least, I have a job, and I'm grateful for that. I thank the Lord for that all the time, and I thank the Lord for, the health that I have and everything, and, that's one of the things I was going to talk about today is health. I've just, here recently, it seems like, and, this started a few years ago, back whenever, we had our fake pandemic showed up, and, doctors started, telling you to take drugs for a disease you don't have. Well, I refer to that, I'm going to start referring to that, by the way, as getting bitten by a rattlesnake. And, the reason I'm going to do that is because, even today, in today's, world, we're still, depending on where this podcast winds up, they're still pretending this thing is real. And, they censor you over everything. You can't say anything about certain things without getting censored terribly. So, but I don't think you can get censored for getting bitten by a rattlesnake. I don't think. Unless AI figures out what that really means, but I don't know. But so I've noticed here recently, of course, there's been, people, what happened is we had people that have no discernment. They listen to the news. They listen to Hollywood. They listen to their elected officials, which are, demonic in nature. Everything that you see on the news and listen to on most doctors is lies and demonic. Okay. And so they pushed you to go out and get bit by a rattlesnake. And then they wanted you to get bit again. And so now I think they're up to about 12 bites now, 10 or 12 bites. Here, 6, 7, a year ago, they were up to 8. So they're like, go get bit by a rattlesnake. Okay. Now I'm sick. Well, go get bit again. Well, now I'm really sick. Go get bit again. I'm even sicker. Go get bit again. After about the 4th one, you're dead. Chances are. Now, unless you got bit by a rattlesnake that wasn't poison. Okay. Now, there were some of them out there. And so people got bit multiple times and didn't feel a thing because, they got bit by a non-poisonous rattlesnake. Majority of people got bit by at least a semi-poisonous rattlesnake, and some of them very poisonous. So since that whole system came out, we've had people dying in droves. Young people, old people, athletes, you name it. People, they're dropping like flies. Okay? And somebody told me of somebody else that they know that's young, way younger than me. They died the other day, and it was from cancer. And they're just completely ate up with it. So I don't know if this person got bit by a rattlesnake or not. High probability they probably did because, these people that got bit, they either immediately had blood clots and died, or they had heart failure and died. And so now what they're doing is if you survived the first couple of bites and now you've went on and got a couple more, now you're most likely going to die of turbo cancer. So these people are just getting riddled with cancer, ate up with cancer, and I mean it goes fast. When they figure out they've got it, I mean they die within weeks, months. They're, that's just the way it is. So it's a killer. If I were you, I would not go get bit by a rattlesnake. I would stay away from it. And, I was reading some statistics on this whole little fiasco that we've had over the last several years. And did you know that almost every person who got sick, okay, who thought they needed to get bitten by a rattlesnake because they got sick, they went to the doctor, and all of the people who were actually sick, they all died in the hospital. Most of the people, like 99% of the people, if not 100% of the people who got sick, who did not go to the hospital, they survived. Let that sink in, okay? If you got sick and went to the hospital, you're dead. If you got sick and stayed at home and, put a compress on your head, stayed in bed, got plenty of sunlight, took vitamin D, took some zinc, maybe took some ivermectin, something like that, well, they survived. They're fine. Now, you may have been miserable for a week or two, I don't know, but you survived. So you got to be real careful, because just because somebody in a white suit or a white, medical suit tells you need something is not necessarily the truth. Okay? And if you don't understand what this is all about, it's all about the mighty dollar bill. That's what this is about. And it's a well-known fact. These hospitals that if you went to the hospital because you're sick, they test you. They test you for a disease. If that test comes back negative, well, that's not really good, because come to find out, the government said, if you get a positive test, we're going to pay you a bunch of money. So they keep testing until they hit a positive. So that'll tell you something right there. Lots of false negatives. False positives, lots of false positives. So they keep testing until they get a positive. And so then they get a check. And then if they can get you to stay there, like be admitted, they get some more money. And this is not just from your insurance. Oh, they're going to bill you too. They're going to sock it to you. Your bill's going to be astronomical. But the government's also paying them a huge amount. They never mention that. And so then if you would let them knock you out, stick a tube down your throat, and pump you full of a drug called remdesivir, which is a killer, kills in about 9 days, shuts all your organs down and kills you. If you will let them kill you, I think they get like $100,000. They get a big check. So obviously, lots of hospitals and doctors, that's exactly what they did. You go in, it doesn't matter, if you've got a cold, it doesn't matter what you've got. They will keep testing until you come up positive for something. And after you come up positive, they will try to force you to stay. And then they'll try to put you into a coma and force a bunch of drugs down you. And chances are 90% of the time you will be dead within 10 days. Remdesivir is known to kill within 9. It's well known. You can search it out. In fact, remdesivir is so negatively looked at because everybody knows it's a killer. They've changed the name now. They've got different names. So they're still trying to sneak it to people. And basically what they're trying to do is euthanize you. Okay, so if you want to get euthanized, head on up, get you a positive test, and let them put you in a coma and start dumping remdesivir into your veins. You'll be dead real quick. Okay, so, but anyway, that's an extreme, happened to a lot of people. But then you've got the other that's happening, which is happening to millions and millions, if not billions of people. And that is, they got sick. Maybe they didn't go to the doctor, whatever, but they were convinced that they need to go get bitten by a rattlesnake. And they did. And they probably still got sick. Didn't matter, but they're too dumb to realize that. And so they got them a couple more bites and they got even sicker. And now they're getting sick all the time. They're getting bronchitis. They're getting all kinds of diseases that shouldn't even be showing up. And, of course, they're having blood clots and heart problems and now turbo cancer. So my point that I tried to make in the beginning is this person, I don't know if they got snake bit or not, but one of the things they did do, we know for sure, is this person decided to take one of these new drugs that's out, and it's a weight loss drug. And they took this drug, and they lost a lot of weight. And right after the weight came off, ate up with cancer. So I'm trying to think of the name of the drug. It's on the tip of my tongue. Okay, it's a weight loss drug. What is it? I've got an article where Ozzy Osbourne, I talked about him recently. His wife, Sharon, supposedly took this drug, and it shows a picture of her. She looks like a skeleton, basically. And it says that, they were going to sue the manufacturer of this drug because I forgot what it did to her, but it's basically, it may be even given her cancer. It sucked her down to nothing. And looks horrible. Looks absolutely horrible. Hold on one second here. Okay. Ozempic. Ozempic is the name of it. So I was doing a little research on Ozempic, and, the people that have taken it, it just sucks them down to a skeleton. It supposedly destroys your bone marrow. It can do all kinds of things. I guess there are a few people that have taken it, who have had success that they think anyway, that haven't died or got a disease yet, something incurable. But the jury's still out. They could be dead in a year from now. So all of the pictures that you see, they have a new thing called Ozempic face. Okay, that's a new thing. They're like, oh, well, they've got Ozempic face. Well, Ozempic face is a horribly drawn up, gaunt looking, death warmed over type look. Okay, so you can see all of these actresses and everybody now, all of a sudden their face is all sunk in. It looks like they're on meth, and it's actually they're on Ozempic. I mean, hey, sounds great, right? So, so anyway, this person, they took their Ozempic, and they dropped the weight, and then, of course, got cancer right after it, and basically a turbo cancer where it supposedly starts in one part of your body, and then you go back to get checked, and, well, it's in your brain, it's in your liver, it's in your blood, it's in your lymph system. It's your whole body. You're just completely ate up. So you're dead within a week. So, yeah. So I heard about this person, a person I don't know, but through a friend of a friend of a friend, But so my first question was this person saved? Well, I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I mean, God knows. But I just thought to myself, how to me it's sad that a person dies, okay, and possibly a drug, to lose weight is what caused you to die. So you're a little bit overweight and you want to be pretty like all the gross, disgusting, devil-possessed movie stars that people put up on a pedestal, which will all be in hell, by the way, 99% of them. You want to look like the Kardashians. So you go get your face shot up with a bunch of drugs to get rid of your wrinkles, some toxic drug made in China or God knows where, to get rid of wrinkles. Don't know what the long-term effects are, but it is a poison, and it actually attacks the nerves, and paralyzes the nerves, and it is a neurotoxin of some kind. So you're going to get that injected into your body in certain areas to try to, cover up a couple of wrinkles for that pride, because, you've got to look younger. You've got to get that pride out there. And so you're taking that, and then you're a little overweight, you think, and instead of eating better and exercising, well, let's just take another drug, which is horribly toxic, and it strips the weight off and gives you cancer, gives you lymphoma, gives you all kinds of diseases. That's incurable, of course. So you're dead from that. And then somebody says, well, are they a Christian? They said, well, are they a Christian? I hope so. Well, nobody knows. And why does nobody know? Well, they've never mentioned God. They've never mentioned Jesus Christ. They've never mentioned salvation and how happy they are that they've been saved. They don't mention anything. And so I had asked that question. Of course, nobody knew the answer. And I was just thinking to myself, how many people I know who proclaim to be Christians, okay? And if you were to ask somebody else, that knows these people, that's on social media with these people, or whatever, you say, is that person a Christian, do you think? And they're like, well, I don't know. I have no idea. He's like, well, why don't you know? Well, they've never mentioned anything about being a Christian. They've never mentioned going to church. They've never mentioned anything. So, and they post stuff about the world, about going to the carnivals and going to concerts and all the football games. If you want to know the latest football stuff, get on their social media. You can learn who's who on that. Anything you want to know, but you won't see any mention about Jesus Christ. You won't see a mention about eternal salvation. So are these people Christians or are they not? Well, maybe, but it's funny that nobody knows. Why has that person never mentioned it to somebody? Never said, hey, you're a friend of mine. Are you saved? You didn't think about getting saved before it's too late. Did you know that you're not promised another breath? You're not promised another heartbeat. You're promised nothing except salvation, if you follow Jesus Christ and believe in Jesus Christ, follow the gospel, believe in the gospel. Other than that, nobody's ever said, I'm going to let you live to be 300 years old. No. Or I'm going to let you live. No. You could die tomorrow, especially if you've been bitten by a rattlesnake about 10 times. You're probably got, you've got blood clots waiting to happen, or you've got a cardiac arrest just waiting to happen, or turbo cancer is fixing to kick in, and when it does, you're done. Or if you have the level of pride that all these people have, that you have to stick yourself with needles and, take all the weight loss drugs and everything to try to impress somebody, I don't know who you're trying to impress. Because you can't say, well, I'm doing it for health. Well, you're not doing it for health because this stuff will kill you. Okay, if you're 10, 20, 30 pounds overweight, that's not going to kill you versus sticking yourself with something that is basically rat poison. Okay? That's about going to guarantee to kill you. So, to me, it's just, I don't know, it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. And I've done podcasts on this before. I called it fake plastic faces. That's what lots of these women want today, and men, but mainly women. You know, they watch these shows like the Kardashians. Okay, number one, I've never watched it. I won't watch it. But I know who they are. And I know that the dad, has transitioned supposedly into a woman. So now he's a woman now. Okay, so, I mean, this stuff is satanic and it's filth. That's all it is. And they've got all this work done. And I saw this article where it said, some of these Kardashians, it said they're not going forward in age, they're going back in age. So, you know, if they're like 48, they look like they're 28. And of course, one of the things that they said that's making them look so young and beautiful is beef tallow. That's what they use, beef tallow. And I mean, there are a lot of people who are waking up now. Okay, it's not just me. It's not just me. There were lots of people on there saying, "Are you kidding me? Beef tallow. Try baby's blood. Okay, try adrenal chrome. That's how you look 20 years younger." Okay, and Botox and plastic surgery. That's what you're doing. Okay, and you're bragging about putting baby's blood on your face, you know, and drinking baby's blood. Now, you know what they never ask on these shows whenever they're talking about, "Oh, how'd you get such a beautiful face? Oh, your skin looks so great. Oh, I put baby's blood on it." Nobody ever asks where they get the blood. I wonder why. I mean, if I said, "Oh, yeah, I rub baby's blood," at the somebody say, "Oh, wait a second. Where'd you get baby's blood?" What, from a dead baby? Oh, where'd you get a dead baby? Who did you kill? You're under arrest. You're a murderer. Or you're an accessory to murderer. You accepted it? Oh, well, so you're still going to jail. You see how that works? I mean, that's the way it is with real, when actually people are actually getting, like, the real world. You know, if somebody goes and steals something and you know it's stolen and you go ahead and accept it or you buy it, well, you go to jail too for, you know, accepting something stolen. You're in on it, basically. So when one of these actresses, one of these Hollywood devils, you know, anybody with a brain in their head knows you just don't come up with blood drained out of a baby where you can take a bath in it. Okay, where are you getting the blood? So you know somebody had to have been drained and probably killed them. But you accept it anyway and you take it so you can, you know, up your pride because you want to look better. Well, I've got news for you. One of these days, you're going to be standing before the judgment seat of Christ. Okay? And whenever you stand up there and you try to proclaim your innocence, okay, and the books are opened and it shows all the babies and the people that had to die for your disgusting looks that you think is good, and for some reason, all these other women think they're just beautiful, and so they want to look like them with the big lips puffed full of filler, duck lips, and faces covered in Botox where they're all stretched out, and big, nasty lips. I mean, who on earth thinks that looks good? I sure don't. I think it looks disgusting. And most of these people look disgusting. They look like death warmed over, majority of them. So, anyway, this gets back to the fake plastic faces that I had talked to you before. You know, if you're a woman and you think that stuff is good looking, you've lost your mind. Okay? Injecting yourself full of chemicals and making your lips look real huge and nasty is disgusting. But that's all you're going to see on TV. Okay? That's all you're going to see from Hollywood. Okay? That's because that is all Satan. Hollywood is ran by Satan. Okay? So everything that he does is opposite of what you should do. Everything. So everything you see these big name brand A-list, actresses and actors, they're all demonic. They're all worshiping the devil. Most of them do it openly. So this is nothing like, that's ridiculous. They don't do that. Oh, yes, they do. And they do it openly. They don't even try to hide it. Okay? They don't say anything about God. Their God is the devil, and they're open about it. Okay? You can listen to them talk, and they will say stuff like, "Hail Lucifer." Thank you, Lucifer. Oh, I thank Lucifer for... that's what they say. That's not a joke. They actually do it. Okay? They're devil worshipers. And they're looking for that eternal youth. That's why they're using adrenochrome. Okay, so where are they getting it from? Well, we have like 300,000 kids come up missing every year and not a single body part ever found, right? So where are they going to? Well, somebody's probably eating them. Okay, I would say, based on what I have read and studied, these children are being drained of the fluids that's needed for the adrenochrome, okay? What's left is being eaten somewhere. And, ever heard of Soylent Green? Ever heard of Beyond, KFC Beyond? People are looking into this stuff now and actually checking stuff. And they're figuring out, there's a lot of DNA in these burgers and all this stuff that's not supposed to be there. And people have found baby's teeth in chicken nuggets from McDonald's. So I would venture to say any of these restaurants that are very popular, okay, that are like on every corner and they're constantly being pushed constantly, and they've got the cheapest food out there, so everybody will go there. And you think you're eating chicken nuggets, the stuff in the middle is not chicken. And you think you're eating a hamburger made out of beef, the stuff in the middle is probably not beef, or very little. It's mixed in with other stuff. So, a lot of these people are getting consumed. Now, is it by these chains? I'm sure. Is it by people unknowingly? Sure. Are there Nephilim or giants still out there? These things that we're seeing that people think are UFOs when they're really demons. These creatures that are half human, half something else that are still alive. Are they consuming these bodies? Probably. I listened to a sermon that was done by Peter Ruckman many, many years ago, and he talks about these things. He calls them a demoniac, but they're the half-breed. When fallen angels came down and bred with women, it created what the Bible calls giants and men of renown. Well, these things are the old demigods of Egypt and all that stuff. That's who these people are. Okay, these people running the show are these creatures. Well, he says that's what they do is they like blood. They drink lots of blood. That's what they live on. So chances are, we've got this government that's come out that claims that there's these aliens running around, and they're making deals with aliens. And we've got these deep underground military things called DUMBs, and these aliens are down there. And people have reported they see aliens and they see children in cages in these things. And they've got proof of it, supposedly. And, well, the thing's not an alien. It's a demoniac. Okay, it's half fallen angel and half something else. So, but I'm sure it is eating children and drinking their blood. I'm sure they are. Why? Because God doesn't want it. God hates it, so they do it. That's what they do. So, if you meet up with an alien in a hall, in a dark alley somewhere, and you meet up with an alien, you're actually probably meeting up with a demon. Okay? A half-breed, something. But it's demonic in nature. It's not alien from outer space. Okay? You ain't getting through the firmament, and neither are they. Unless God throws you through it or allows you to pass through it, you ain't getting through it. That's just all there is to it. So, anyway. So back to, anyway, it's the pride. It's the pride of life. That's what's driving this stuff is the almighty dollar and pride. So, these doctors, they've got the pride because they're making big money. So it's like, well, I can do whatever because I'm rich, because I'm basically killing people for money. They don't care. They could absolutely care less. And majority. Now, I'm not saying all. I'm sure there are actually moral doctors out there that won't go along with it. Of course, if they had came forward a few years ago, they immediately get their license pulled. So, they're coming up now saying, oh, we didn't force anybody to get a snake bite. We didn't force anybody. You did that on your own free will. It's like, yeah, but you threatened my job. That's not forcing you. Well, if I was a doctor and I didn't want to go along with it, you tried to pull my license or did. Oh, that's not forcing you. And, you came out with all these mandates that say we have to do that. Oh, that's not forcing it. So, see, they want off the hook now that people have figured out what's causing these illnesses. Now the people who mandated it, enforced it, they want off the hook, see? They don't want to be reliable for all these deaths. So will they ever be? I don't know. But I tell you right now, and they're still pushing it. They still want you to go out and get a snake bite. And like I said, I think we're on about the 15th one now. If I were you, I wouldn't do it. Okay? You're taking an experimental something. You don't know what it's going to cause, but if all you've got to do is get on X, okay, and type it in the search bar, and you can see hundreds, if not thousands of cases of it killing people. And they'll even show you people who have said, oh, I'm so happy I went and got a couple of snake bites today. Oh, and then a month later they're dead. Oh, I got me on my 5th snake bite. Now they're dead. Go. So how on earth anybody would get in line this day and age to go get themselves a snake bite is completely beyond my comprehension. I don't understand it. I guess because you have zero discernment, you're not saved. If you are, you're an idiot. You're a blooming idiot. Now, I'm sure you can be saved and be dumb as a rock. Okay? I'm sure you can. And I'm sure if you're that dumb, I guess God doesn't even bother to give you any discernment because you wouldn't know what to do with it if you had it. So he's like, oh, go ahead and get snake bit. I mean, you're coming to heaven anyway. Go ahead and get it. Who cares? I mean, you're so dumb you don't need to be alive anyway. That's the only thing I can figure. But if that's not the case, and you truly are a saved Christian, why do you not have a little discernment? Why are you going and letting them give you snake bites when you don't need it? And you can take a look around you and see that everybody else that gets bitten by a rattlesnake ends up dying. or very sick. So why would you want to voluntarily do it? Why? You know? Oh, because Hollywood said? Oh, wait a second. Joe Biden said. You mean the clone or whatever he is? The freak that he is? Oh, don't tell me you think that's the real man. Why don't you do a couple of comparison pictures? Okay? Oh, well, why would you? You have no discernment. You believe everything you're told. In fact, I mean, I'm listening to these Christian radio stations, and they're still talking about Biden, about how dumb he is and how incompetent he is and everything. It's like, the guy you're pointing at isn't even Biden. It's not even the same dude. It's a completely different person. Any fool can tell that. Oh, well, that is, any person with discernment can tell that. If your brain is clogged up with Hollywood and porn and liquor and everything else, well, no, you're not going to know anything. You're going to believe everything that the TV tells you. Okay? Turn it off is my advice to you. Okay? Stop listening to the devils. They want you dead. That's their goal. Okay? So, I mean, they're going to tell you everything opposite. That's what they've always done. So, pride is what got Lucifer to fall. Pride. That's what knocked the devil out of heaven to begin with, is pride. That's why he wants you to have pride. That's why the gay thing, gay pride, everything's pride. Well, of course it's pride, because the Bible says pride goes before a fall. You're not supposed to have pride. God hates pride. He hates a proud look. God hates it. So Hollywood, the news, the Kardashians, all the devils, they try to tell you you need it. Gay pride, this pride of life, pride this, pride that. Proud of yourself. Put on your makeup. Put on your Botox. Put on your Ozempic. Do it all. Look like, of course, they think it looks good, but actually it makes them look like death warmed over. So do everything stupid for pride. Well, that's okay. See, God hates pride. So if you're not saved, I guess that means God hates you too, right? I mean, you're not saved and you're full of pride and you're leading all kinds of young women and stuff astray, and now they're following. So what you're going to do is lead them straight to hell. So what does God think about that? Well, you'll be in the lake of fire soon enough to find out, won't you? So anyway, but like I'm saying, if you're anywhere in any of this, regardless of where you at or where you are at in life, you better get saved before it's too late. As I'm going to tell you right now, you could be gone tomorrow. Car wreck, heart attack, stroke, turbo cancer, rattlesnake bite, tree fall on your head. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. They had the show years ago I think it was the 80s or 90s, 1,000 Ways to Die. They've got people dying left and right in these things. Well, that could be you. I mean, so you want to end up in hell, or do you want to end up in heaven? It's how we have inflation these days and how expensive everything is. Everything is through the roof expensive. Well, the old salvation from Jesus Christ, that's still free. It's a free gift. So why would you not just take it? Well, I know. Everybody's got their excuses. Can't live it, not ready, you name it. You better do it before it's too late. Just like this person that died the other day. They didn't know they were going to lay down in bed and die of cancer. They probably thought they had weeks. They might have thought they had months. Who knows how long, you know? But they're like, man, I'm sick. I think I'm going to get better. Let me take a nap. And they never wake up. Don't be that person that's like, well, you know, I'm on my deathbed, I think, but I might get better. I'm not going to get saved. I'm not going to pray. No, people might make fun of me. You know, somebody at work might think I'm a joke, or they might think I'm a hypocrite. So no, I couldn't possibly ask Jesus Christ to save me. I couldn't do that. No. Nah. And then you die in your sleep. Wouldn't that be a nightmare? Be laying in your bed, die in your sleep, and wake up in hell? Yeah. Anyway, I pray that doesn't happen to anybody. I know it's happening probably every second of every day, you know, all day. But, you know, I wish it wasn't. But, you know, like I've said time and time again, you know, you don't know how much time you've got, so do it before it's too late. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this thing up. Hey, like, share, check out our website. It's flatbro.com, kennywilliamson.com, truthseekersministry.org. Check us out. Check out the podcast. Let me know what you think. Send me any questions, comments you have. And, you know, get saved before it's too late. Don't wait. Time is now. Anyway, thanks for listening. And until the next one, until we meet again, God bless you.